on Nuke and getting decimated, but still being able to reset and come back, versus Eternal Fire, who we haven't seen on Nuke yet this tournament, but we know they're a very puggy team. We know they like to play very loose CS. We haven't seen anything too structured or too organized from them. So it definitely feels like those back two maps could be pretty critical in the swing of things, to be honest. But before we get there, we've got to start with Inferno, the map pick of Sprout, and they will be starting over on the T side.
Yeah, this is just going to be an exciting game in general. As you said, I'm not really 100% sure what to expect, just because we haven't seen these two match up against each other, and, well, it seems like both teams at points can have little bits of inconsistency, so it's about how they show up in the moment, and we are getting things already kicking off pretty quick here in this pistol round. Calyx wants a bit of a glance in towards second mid to see what's going down, and, well, he's going to have K actually, or Key rather, coming in towards the apartments, and, well, he's the one going down. Quick bullet to the skull, and, well, Key quickly dispatched of, so that's a very strong opening for Eternal Fire. It's going to be Sprout actually giving up on their dreams there, I believe, of that banana control, as well as they start to move their way over towards A fairly slowly. And with the three-man stack towards B for Eternal Fire, it does look like they're tempted to peek banana. They'll want to do that pretty soon so they can hurry up and react and begin rotating back at this stage. Yeah,
they do need to start squirreling that rotation away, and for now at least not doing it. Just starting to peek is Xantares. So that information now there, you see immediately knife out. He's going to hightail it, and there's a timing game to be had. A couple of players on the rotation. Calyx spotted out in the pit, can't land the first or the second bite at it, but he's buying time, and here come the rotations as they start to swarm onto the site. Woxic can't land anything. Faven, free headshot for one, but it's Immor rotating in to combine. Spiddy able to grab the one, but that's bomb down. The one frag he finds is the bomb carrier, and with 35 seconds left in this 3-on-3, Sprout are having to slow it right down. Xantares boosted over the smoke, takes the dink from Slacks on the chin, just about gets out of there alive. They're trying to challenge these Julies, and Faven will win it out. So the plant will be available. They tap it once to try and bait the long peak, but instead it's two players up short. One diverts into the apartments, and the 2-on-3 retake looks to take sessions. Xantares will play very little part in this. It's going to be all on xFlow. Xantares on 1 HP. Well, if there's anyone you wanted to have a lightning fast headshot, it would be him. But as he sneaks his way out, he is a bullet, a whisper, in fact, from death, and Faven will provide. xFlow left in the 1v3, spotted out by the first man, and at this point, you can see he's desperately trying to isolate the 1v1s, but they will not be given. Lovely stuff from Sprout. Well recovered as well, as that fast flank from Immor threatened to really derail things.
Yeah, it could have started to have gone south a little bit, but Immor obviously only allowed to get away with a single kill in the end. And with that, a retake that really was just, I think, a bit too much to handle with the low health on one of those players as well. Well, a relatively secure, I suppose, buy from Sprout. They haven't gone all in on the weaponry, instead a good mixture, ensuring that they have utility. They'll be able to clear out these tricky positions that the weaker weapons can play in. But as you can see, they also have those rifles, which will give them the ranged capability for some early openings such as that on towards Woxic. So that's an initial removal of the scout. Not going to be a good start for Eternal Fire. They really would have wanted a tag or two out of that scout before it went down, rather, just to make the life of those Deagles, the 5.7 and the MP9, a little bit easier.
One of those unfortunate ones. You need that scout. The whole system revolves around it, getting a couple of tags and making those Deagles' lives easier, because if you don't, this happens. Ral's just running and gunning with the Mac-10. 2 quick kills. The A site completely opened up. Nothing more that CT side can say, and as Floud and Immor look to save what they've got, MP9, couple of nades, 5.7 with Kevlar, they would have been hoping that they could have got at least a player or two more out to save, in all honesty. They needed a little bit more. Not able to land it, though, and a second round on the board for Sprout. Third going to be a little rough around the edges for Eternal Fire, to say the least. Not expecting too much at all from it. Just juggling the rifles to make extra sure, Key, that nobody is going to be saving any of that. Now, Ral's is a little low on HP to be tucking into this corner, so I'm not sure if he'll go down with the bomb. I haven't got the numbers memorized, unfortunately. Trying to form a human shield, keep Ral's tucked in. And he will survive, 3 HP, so all 5 players kept up. That's a nice win for Sprout.
It was over in the back corner, was it? So in that case, yeah, you're usually pretty good. I think if you get it at the furthest point away, you can survive with like 12 health. I think it's like 11 damage maybe. So you can get away with it on fairly low health, as long as you don't have it in that kind of default plant closer to short. If that's the case, then you need to be fairly high on health to withstand it. It's like 60 or 70. Either way, though, a good round coming through for Sprout to take a 2-0 lead. There is still a decent amount here for Eternal Fire to at least come in and make it a challenging round. So it's not too easy, so that Sprout can't really get into the groove of things. You want to try and chop away at that economy a small bit. 5-7 here could be very dangerous. And Apps Xfloud decides to pounce as his teammate had taken the initial attention. Well, despite the nade damage, you can see the weapon not really able to get the follow-up for Key, and with that, a Mac-10 being stolen away on top of the MP9 now. Ooh. If they can manage to get this done with the SMGs, or if they can even get another couple of kills with those SMGs, then it's a round that could very much be worthwhile.
That looked like it was going to be so nasty for a second. They debated stacking the B bomb site, showed face aggressive on A. Looked to rotate 5, then 4, then 3 as they scaled down the plans. Faven does well to deal with Calyx, and now this B site starts to come under siege. Couple of Deagles. Faven continuing, though, to just absolutely rip people's heads off. Spinny takes a double dink without ever turning, which makes things a little awkward, but Faven seems to be aware of everything that this CT side are trying at the moment, continuing to just frag out. 4 to his name. 1 away from the ace at this point. It may well be stolen away from him. Slacks is watching the banana aggression with the Galil, and Xfloud is aware that realistically he should just be looking to pounce for exits, just get a little extra damage, because again, very little investment into this round. Some good damage found by that CT side of Eternal Fire.
Yeah, wasn't bad at all, and this Mac-10, as you were saying, might still have a bit more to give, or rather to take. As Slacks comes in, no, it's going to be the Galil that reigns supreme. A few extra bullets just to be sure. Never know.
Might be too careful.
They do reincarnate. Just a little bit too late to get the revenge, unfortunately. You have to wait till the next round. But yeah, the 3-0, as kind of expected with the second round having gone the way of Sprout, but again, it wasn't quite as clean as it could have been for them in that third round either. But they've still actually built up decent money overall. 3 players looking fairly flush. He and Slacks definitely could have a lot more, but considering Slacks has come out onto the op here early on as well, it is understandable that his economy has taken a little bit of a hit. In terms of the focus, though, for the T-side early on, it's just Faven really charging up Banana, looking to get that early control, and it isn't really being contested for it either, so he's been able to actually get a lot of map control early on for the T-side. Should allow for the rest of them to focus on pressuring in around mid and just trying to make things a bit unpredictable. Though, as I say that, Emor decides to re-aggress through Banana, and Faven had just been sitting in the smoke, so he wasn't really ready to react once he came in.
Lovely pick, and Zantara is able to strike. They're just baiting and switching so beautifully at the moment. Slacks finally finds something for Sprout. It feels like it's starting to become too little too late. It's 2-on-4. Riles and Slacks look to disconnect from the A site. Instead, doubling back their efforts towards B, hoping that they have indeed drawn a rotation. Imor currently playing solo over towards this B side, but he's got so much utility with just 50 seconds left. Drops his first smoke, picks up another that's been left for him in CT. Has that and a molly. So Riles and Slacks just start to consider their options. Slacks still watching for a flank that's not coming. Riles tucked into the left behind that fading smoke. And here comes Imor again, looking to line up a little more utility. They're creeping their way towards this site. That HE should give the game away. Let them know what's coming, and indeed the rotation from Xfloud will start to make its way around, and on that, Sprout will bow out of this round. So a first for Eternal Fire, and nice aggression, a nice timing, and they're going to try and hunt it as well. Woxic up against Slacks, peeking shoulder to shoulder. Slacks gets the better of him. Gives the position away, but they won't want to hunt more than that.
Just not going to be worthwhile. The up and the AK being the main things, though, as we said, that really just need to be saved over, because then they can drop the AK easily to Key, and yeah, everyone else has got what they need. So they'll have the chance to return, but considering that was a pretty clean round there for Eternal Fire, they themselves are going to have everything really that they could ask for in this gun round now. Even better than what they had going into the previous. A little bit better on the nades and such. So, what exactly is the plan for the CTs? They've put 3 towards B early on, but haven't really done anything with it. I think maybe the player back in spawn threw that deep smoke while the nades and such were being tossed in by the B players initially so they can hang on to theirs, but yeah, not going to be going for any sort of aggression. Happy to fall back into a fairly standard default, and well, with Sprout being in pretty much the same plan, on the same plan right now, rather, of a default as well. It means we're going to be seeing a little bit of a slower round play now. Lots of nades, though, being tossed. There's no shortage in that regard.
It's actually one out for the CT side as well, as they will regain banana control. Everyone's settled into the slower default, and it will be the CT side that win out. So with a minute left on the clock, as Antares has a peer into bracket and realises nobody's home for the T side, it starts to get very awkward for Sprout. No real map control to speak of. Limited time on the clock. A lot of their utility already being burnt away. Timings will have to be spectacular. A couple of players still lurking bracket suggest that they are going to double back to A, having successfully drawn the rotation with the utility. We'll be on to Woxic and Calyx. The pit site setup to really lock this one down. Long smoke make sure they are the only angles to be worried about by this T side. They start to spread themselves into bracket. No rotation. 25 seconds left. It's going to be a straight brawl here. Pit, mini pit. The classic setup. Missed shot. Calyx takes full advantage. He's tagged down, but that won't matter. HE won't quite catch him either. Spiddy can't deal with him. The rotations starting to funnel their way in, and they've got to get into the site, Sprout, but the utility is good. It continues to lock them away. Calyx gets another, and it's done. They're being flanked out as they look to save. They are punished. Slacks has to survive this. After time, he tucks himself into the bedroom and will get away with it. But Eternal Fire, they hold that down so brilliantly. Sprout leave it to the last minute, and Calyx steps up.
Honestly, though, I'm a little bit surprised they didn't just throw themselves through Boiler as Slacks there in the end to see if they could take him out after time, because, well, he's got the op, and not only would you take the op away from his possession currently, he also would have just completely destroyed the economy and ensured that he'd be kind of mismatched with everyone for a while, and that it wouldn't be coming in any of those soon gun rounds anyway. But either way, it is going to be saved over. They managed 2 AKs, a couple Tech 9s, and with that, I'd expect maybe a bit of a quicker round to be coming in. Those Tech 9s, they can be pretty useful, I've got to say, if they're leading the pack, especially in towards a B hit, which does look to be the favourite side of the map currently. I don't think Emor recognised that Slacks has actually crossed already. This could be dangerous. If Slacks manages to get the peek alongside his teammate on the bomb site, he has now been spotted though by X-Floud, and unfortunately the AK does reign supreme in that case with the quick headshot, but Ralds gets the return, and now it means the newcomer has to go ahead and step up and hold this B-bomb site alone. He's got 2 already, but he won't be expecting Favin to come from above. It's a 3-on-3, and they will actually get that bomb safely across to be planted.
Timings are going to be everything here as the rotations start to make their way through. The bomb well planted for these banana players. They do have, however, over on Eternal Fire, a smoke to deal with them. Molotovs go the wrong way. Close player Spiddy yet to be checked. There goes the smoke. That unlocks it. Pot flash over the top. Spiddy in trouble. Got to do what he can, but nothing to be found. Favin and Key going to try and boost up. Over the top. They deny the first diffuser. They know where they are, but Calyx, as he finds the first through the smoke, has still got to land onto Key, who's spamming away, can't quite get it. The defuse will be landed, leveled out on the board. Calyx on 14 HP, just about survives the Tech 9 dink. And well, that starts to break the economy of Sprout as well.
Yeah, it's cracked it down into a position where they're just short of the buy, unfortunately. I mean, pistols, Kevlar probably to come out at least, but I wouldn't really expect any rifles here. You wouldn't want to be limited to the Galils and to maybe just an AK or 2, even if they were willing to sacrifice the helmets. That is all they could really afford right now. It's 3-3, early enough days here on this T side that you can kind of forfeit this round while at least just trying to make it a costly one for Eternal Fire. Maybe even aim towards the bomb plant. It could be useful to Sprout as well. Yeah, they've got a lot of utility behind this, so there must be a plan that they have set in stone right now in their mind. Otherwise, I don't think they'd be buying up quite this much utility.
You've always got to have some kind of plan. To be fair, they've got a decent amount of money, so even in the half-buy, can afford to splurge. Get their hands on a little extra, and if nothing else, bleed out the CT utility, right? If you've got some smokes and flashes of your own, then you can force responses from the CT side, and you can see it here. Immor's dumped all of his utility. Calyx has only got a flash yet. That's all reinvestment. xCloud actually throwing his last smoke as well. That's all money that's going to have to be reinvested for the CT side. So this is a nice net win to start things off for Sprout. Smoke goes towards long. Molly's close short, trying to start clearing that bracket control. Still a couple of players into Palace for the pop as well. The problem is, as tends to be the case with this iteration of Inferno, the four-man stack is here. And as they start to charge up short, there is a lot of CT presence. The nade stack does net them one, but it's quickly negated. A flurry of frags on the site, and well, Key will be able to grab another from the pit, starting to make this a little more expensive. Knows that damage is really the order of the game at this point. The more the merrier. Spam through the long smoke. He's trying to isolate Xantares on the site before that smoke fades. He won't get the chance, but through the edge of it, he will catch another. And again, at this point, this round is starting to get very expensive indeed. Xantares finally puts him in the ground, but 3 rifles taken away, not a bad result at all.
Yeah, damn it, I could almost feel the lineup spray down there at the end. Not able to make it happen, but as you said, it is still going to be pretty happy with taking out 3 rifles and just again forcing quite a bit of reinvestment. They had already forced a ton of nades out as well, so it's not allowing that economy of Eternal Fire to really build at all. They're still in the position where losing a round here would put them in a very awkward spot. We'll have to see whether they keep this pace up or not now. No op available for the T side. Slack's happy enough to sit on towards the AK, or at least was forced to do so either way. But he is definitely able to make use of the rifle, and well, he shows us that as I'm speaking. I mean, he doesn't even need vision of his opponent, apparently. Xantares tried to cross mid, it looks like, and well, he ended up finding a bullet in his skull. That's
so unfortunate. That's one of those just tap downs. He's just tapping away, trying to maybe, you know, tag someone up a little bit as they cross, and instead absolutely domes him.
You always have to blame yourself, though. I always feel really stupid when I step into a spam like that. I'm like, I should have known. He was doing it.
Either way, the man advantage is there now for Sprout, and they're looking to take advantage of it, piling the pressure onto Woxic with some set utility. Missed shot. I think he ducked that bullet, in fact, as Woxic, still alone on this B site, will finally find the shot. Faven goes down. And well, it's all a ruse, but it's not a ruse Eternal Fire are too sure about falling for. They start to rotate back. They sacrifice a man Sprout to try and cause a rotation that then never comes. So this starts to look very awkward indeed. Slack spotted as he runs out long. The short hit caught behind the molly. Slacks does very well while blind to find one. And that may well save Sprout their blushes here. As in the 3-on-4, they're going to bail back out with 25 seconds left on the clock and look to loop around towards B as 3. Slacks acting as the rotation cut point, but if Immor is quick, if he is very quick, he could start being the backstab before this round has even really got going. They'll take out Woxic for free, and that will be critical. Spinny goes down, but Key should and will be able to defend the bomb planter, find just enough room for it to go down. Ral still has health to work with, and in the 1v3, Calyx has a lot on his plate. He came late, Banana. Starting to clear his corners now, but there is an awful lot of them as you head into this A site to be cleared. Gets rid of Key, but he's down to 39 HP, and I'm not sure how much more of a look-in he'll want to give this when he starts to look at the economy of his team. And yeah, the decision is made. Calyx looks to back out, try and deny on the exit. Very nearly takes out Rals. The bomb should do the rest of the heavy lifting for him. Rals will throw the AWP, hope that the bomb takes it somewhere near Slacks. That's lovely teamwork, that. But we level things out at 4 apiece. Sprout with a solid execute.
That was right on the center of the platform as well. Good landing. But it was a weird one there from Eternal Fire, because as you said, obviously they had made the correct decision to keep things over towards A, but xCloud just ended up peaking like maybe half a second too early when he swung in from Library. Slacks was able to just about get vision of him before the flash that was coming in from the player in towards Pit popped, and with that was able to get away with the kill. So it feels like one that probably could have went Eternal Fire's way if not for that single kill, which obviously then allowed for him to take the CT control and even allow for a B-split to come true. Did have a bit of a pause there, understandably so. back and forth here on the map choice of Sprout, rather. Eternal Fire know that if they can take control, if they can get things really going on the CT side, they could set themselves up for maybe even a 2-0.
Certainly the opportunity is there, and they're going to go aggressive in this round. Or are they? Immor toys with it. He thinks about it. Haven't choose on a HE and will force him back. Everybody just settles into things here. Calyx thinking about being cheeky again. We saw this on the pistol. Aggression into the apartments. It netted him a kill onto Key. This time, nobody really pressuring it. As the first wave of utility is deployed, bracket will be taken. Centaurus with a molly, but he's not sure if he wants to use it here. He's thinking about putting it down, but instead opts for a little bit of a spam and a back away. We'll concede that bracket control, and this looks... In fact, it stinked initially of a B-Wrap. Instead, they are looking to back away. That Molotov does go in, and it will be the commitment over towards this A site. Xantares shoulder peeking for info. Won't have spotted much. Has spotted just enough to back himself into Arch. That apartments play is going to become critical here. Xantares ahead of the smoke, able to get one and blinded. Finds the second. Faven, his third victim as he rounds the corner, and this is a slaughter. Slacks only able to find the one as Calyx pounces. Eternal Fire, they wait and they wait and they wait, and at the perfect moment, Xantares looks to strike.
And that's just ruined Sprout, unfortunately. They can't even really afford to buy too much behind this one, to be honest, if they want to make sure their buy has everything here in the next round. They do get 2,900 loss bonus, but still, if you want the op on Slacks, if you want all of the nades behind it, as you can see, all they really afford is a few pistols. And, well, in the case of Rald, a couple of flashes, so he's actually going to play for the team. They do get a smoke eventually as well. There is a small bit there to work with. The hope is going to be that these Deagles maybe can work something in the early moments of the round, and maybe then with the smoke and a couple of flashes, they can make a move towards one of those bomb sites. Too crazy coming in from Eternal Fire either. They're always keeping the pressure on, though. That is something to note. Whether it's in terms of actually fighting or just pressure in areas of the map and keeping the control in either in their favor or I guess more so in question, so that Sprout aren't really too sure either. We go though. Good little flash in towards Banana. It doesn't actually blind up Emor. It got X-Flowed, but Emor importantly was able to actually avoid it, and with that gets one kill, backs away, and is happy to do so. A lot of players you might see stick around, they're like, oh, they only have pistols, let's try get these kills, and then suddenly it spirals out of control. So I've got to say, really good restraint right now from Eternal Fire.
And there's the aggression. Xantares looking for it, hunting it down, grabbing it with open arms. Faven lost alive, knows he should try and get something. He's tagged Xantares up a little. Make it a lot. He's down to 38, but again, the supporting lines are well rammed by Eternal Fire. Faven playing Ring of Roses with these CTs at the moment, desperate just to get any kind of damage out of this round. Knows he has to die, so he doesn't want to hide himself too well. But also knows he'd like a little bit of damage, so wants to try and be a little fiddly to find. And that is the play as he comes out. We'll deal with him, or there we go. That's the frag he was after. Down to 15 HP now. Should be relatively easy pickings. It's a little messy, but it gets done either way. Eternal Fire do manage to stabilise. Just losing the one man. The MP9 is upgraded onto the Fallen Rifle, so the relative losses are very low. Sprout need a response with these rifles.
Yeah, happy enough, I think, with the AK on Slacks. He probably could have pulled out the op there with body armor if he really wanted to, so I think it's just a case of Inferno being Inferno right now, and the AK being a little bit preferable, the style that they're looking to try and bring into these rounds. Very quick again from Faven up Banana. He is the man to normally go for this charge. Unfortunately, the smoke that's been put down pretty much every single time by Eternal Fire just isn't working out for him, trying to go straight through it. Slacks does at least find the return elsewhere. He takes out the long defender, but they haven't actually confirmed this mid-control as of yet. They'll only now start to move in and officially take it. With the time, I was going to say they could potentially still move back over towards B. Instead, flashing directly around long, catching the Emor caught pretty much up against the wall, I believe there, as he tried to back into Arch. As the movement doesn't really work out for him.
Going back.
And they will actually eventually move it back towards B, as I said, was still pretty much an option. They didn't have banana control. They are going to just go ahead and charge forward, hoping to be able to catch this bomb site open or at least weaken, which is the case with xFloud in behind that CT smoke.
Youngsters rotated too early. There's a huge gap in the smoke, though, and he will be able to grab one as they cross over. Will be a free plant regardless, and decisions to be made for Eternal Fire, because Calyx is still all the way over on A, but xFloud flashed in. We'll find Raoul's looking completely the wrong way. And that's going to tempt them into this now. A 2-on-3, much more viable. Slacks trying to steady the ship. Big headshot onto Xantares as he swings, and the shadow angle will betray xFloud at the second time of asking. Calyx left to try and piece together the 1v2. We've seen him clutch up on Inferno CT side earlier today. Problem is, he's got very limited info to work on. He spots out one, but Spiddy is there for the backstab. Sprout do find their response. And they do start to break down that CT economy as well, don't they? Xantares on 3,400, Calyx 3,750. Their buy's not going to be great, but neither is Sprouts. Both of them struggling to get the funds together.
Yeah, neither team has really built up any sort of stable economy, which is something we haven't been seeing a lot, to be honest. A lot of the games we've had so far have had one-sided halves, or at least situations where a team starts to string together a pretty decent chunk of rounds, and at the moment we're just not getting that. Neither team is able to get more than a couple in a row. And this is what we want to see as viewers. That's all we are, really. We just also get to talk while we're watching. Here we go. Leave the MAC-10 still in the hands of Raoul's, unfortunately. Slacks, I think, is limited as well. What has he got? Has he got his AK on the ground? He does indeed. There we go. Having a pretty decent performance, considering he isn't going towards the op at all, and he's only rocking that rifle. Up on 10 kills, not far off Favin.
Favin slowed down. That's the difference.
He was nasty yesterday as well. He seems to be in decent form in general.
Just started to slow down a little bit. That top banana take has stopped working for him. Looks like he's realised it and starts to change the play a little bit. Sits slightly more passively, waits for the second spree of utility, but meanwhile, the rest of his team are pushing the issue across the park. Spiddy caught. Aggression of Woxic rewarded. And again, man disadvantage, limited information to work with. Favin's got a little bit of something on banana. Nothing too significant. They'll start to dump some utility, try and get a trade out. Slacks has a prod and a poke again at Bracket, but the utility this time is good from the CT side, chipping away at both him and Key. Bomb clearly wants to end up on the B site. It's a question of, do we look for the wrap as well? It's the fading smoke on long, may well tempt them into it. Here comes the utility. Close smoke to try and lock the angle off for Xantares. He's going to disrespect it straight through. Key expects it. And now the wrap is on. 30 seconds left. Imor, aware of it, is going to have to play close to this smoke. There's a tiny gap for him to try and exploit. Raoul's and Favin are going to have to swing. The CT lurk is going very slowly, however. And with just 20 seconds left, the time could be key. There's no utility to stall. It's going to be all on the fragging power of Imor and Floyd. And Imor immediately gone. Floud now stuck behind the site. Can only do the 1-for-1 at best. And with Key still lurking here, he could do so much. He denies Woxic the rotation, and Calyx knows. He knows the round is over. It's done before it began. Key is the hero of it for Sprout. That CT flank single-handedly wins them the round.
Not the first time either. Obviously that round before where Slacks was able to get his way through the spawn, also finding 3 kills in the process of doing so. So it seems like maybe a little bit of a weak point for Eternal Fire whenever Sprout are able to actually get themselves the early success around long. Key in general, though, has been quite impressive since being brought into this lineup. He had a decent amount of experience, but I mean, he's still a pretty young player and hasn't been around for the longest of times either, and so far has slotted in incredibly well. In a way, at least, where it seems like the likes of Slacks and Favin are feeling a lot more comfortable. As I said, though, Raoul's, I think, has been a bit more inconsistent. It seems like Ancient is a map where he still just pops off every time, but he's not quite consistently hitting the level that I think he was hitting with the previous iteration. of Sprout before they made the change and brought in Key. Because when Ralph was first added to the roster, he was up there at the top of the scoreboard pretty much every single game. So it definitely seems like, obviously, with the addition of Key, they've changed around some of those roles. You get a bit of a pause here. It's from Sprout. Line things up at 6-6 and wanting a pause to try and help themselves now charge into the lead.
They know exactly what they need to do here. Carry that momentum into the halftime. They've looked scrappy but solid, you have to say, Sprout. Been able to fight their way back into a few awkward situations and under the pressure of Eternal Fire have started to turn into diamonds. Alex, of course, saving the FAMAS. Other than that, very little into this round. So Faven's charge up Banana feels a little more justified. Immor, as always, waits on the other side of the smoke for when inevitably Faven goes around the corner. But this time, he's not watching for it. Faven finally gets the reward that he's been after for so many rounds. He'll trade out the second onto Calyx as well. And at this point, well, there's nothing Xfloud can do. He swings wide, hopes to dink up one maybe, but that's it. Bomb will go down, 7th round will be secured, and again, it will just be a matter of, can we take away a rifle here? Okay, Xantares, we can. Nice shot. AK removed, and they will scramble to try and recover it as well. One flanks round, one holds close to the left. Woxic and Xantares, a lethal duo. You have to say, they want to be a little careful here on the T side, as Faven does find the connection, not to lose any more, and Faven will make sure of it. Mopping up some exit frags to get Sprout their 7th. And at this point, you have to say, Dean, this is probably a solid T-side for Sprout, no matter what happens from here.
Yeah, 7's not bad. I mean, maybe if it was before the M4 buff, I'd say 7 is kind of what you'd want. You'd probably want maybe an 8 on top of it, but at this rate, with the M4, of course, being a little bit better, with the thing starting to kind of shift back a small bit, 7 is somewhere you can be very happy with. 9, though, it's always going to be the mark they're aiming for. Sprout are the sort of team here that'll just keep on pushing, as everyone else would. So I don't think Eternal Fire are going to have much of an easier time, especially if this doesn't go their way. They really won't be left with much into that final round of the half to put up a challenge. What the hell? We don't really get to see exactly how that played out, but Key just seemed to have charged through the mid-smoke. Or maybe there wasn't. I think it was actually deeper in on mid itself, so he was given a bit of room. It was from Boiler, actually. Either way, a 1-for-1 trade is not really ideal for Eternal Fire. They were caught out trying to make their boost up in towards quad as well, so they're forced to abandon it. And with that, mid should be takeable for the T side, but they're not really going to bother with it. Actually, Spitty here, falling back, I think it's going to be kind of noted by Xantares and may give Eternal Fire a bit of an idea about what's going on.
Xcloud's got the flashbang for him all to swing. Timings here are going to be everything. They are queuing up. It is going to be the B site. Immor has to back away. Now the flash, the HE to follow it. There's multiple bodies there, but he can't quite connect it. Drops his smoke. Knows he has to buy time as they charge on through, and oh, Slack's fully blinded through the smoke. Finds a big kill. Xfloud with just the FAMAS. It's the one gun you really don't want to have on the CT side. He does well to get one. Again, quickly traded away, and again, Sprout just barge into the B bomb site. Uninvited, you have to say. Key initially playing peekaboo out of Boiler, catches them a little off guard on the Eternal Fire side of things, and then just a late full execute into the B site with no warning, no info, not even stopping when Immor drops his smoke, because they know if they stop, the rotations are in and they will be in trouble. Trust in their gut, Sprout, and it is working out well towards the back end of this first half.
And they seem to have found some form, and well, seem to have also found out that the B bomb site is a little bit weaker at the moment. That's where they found a lot of the success. 17 and 9 for Faven as well. Definitely going to be helping out, as Xantares is going to have to fight to hold on. But, well, in the end, it actually will be the timer that runs out as he exchanges a couple of bullets and, well, just hangs onto his M4 in the end. No kills even going to be found either way. So, A6, I mean, I said Sprout will be happy with this now no matter what, as they lead the half. But the 9th is fairly probable. Although the buy has actually worked out a bit better than I thought it would for Eternal Fire. Only Xfloud is put down towards the UMP, so it's actually not too bad. An AK on towards Calyx as well, that was brought through, so yeah, they can definitely still put up a decent challenge here, and if they can get the 7th round, take a pistol on the second half, things again could be looking very, very undecisive. Or indecisive, rather. What am I about?
We'll have to wait and see what they can do. It looks like a traditional palace pop, this. 3 players in the apartments. Couple in mid to throw the utility over the top. You charge on out, you see what you can get. And here it comes. Here they come. Straight on out. Spiddy diving to try and get something done. Key will find the first, and it's falling apart all too quickly for Eternal Fire. I barely realise what happens. Never mind them, as 3 quick frags secure the A site. Pop out of the apartments works to perfection. Xcloud and Emor will try, because they have to try. It's the last round of the half, but as Slacks picks the UMP off, Emor has to charge through a smoke. It's never going to work. It's 9-6 at the end of the first half. Sprout looking good on their map pick. We'll have to see if they can close it after the break.
Am I wasting time? 'Cause I'm already gone so long. Can you stay the night? 'Cause you're the thing. Your life hits hard, but I hit right back.
The first half that went back and forth, but Sprout just starting to wrestle control away at the death of it. They can continue that form. It should be their map pick going their way, but it has to start with this pistol, Dean. They have to keep maintaining that momentum. Timing. Rawls looking for the execute, trying to push on in. He's swinging it. Calyx will go down to Slacks, and now the chaos really does begin. They can't get that bomb down because the flank has already come all the way up. As the push starts to make its way around, Key takes the dink. Toxic has construction control with the bomb, though, and 40 seconds left on the clock. This is utter chaos. The site is lost in its entirety. Rals will find another frag onto Xcloud. They're going to try and get this bomb down in no man's land. And they will just about manage to do so. Now the charge on in, and Key finds another big headshot. Just the 2 players in towards Coffin's left. Xantares, tagged up by the early nades, is trying to catch the man who's reloading, but the bunny hopping will stop him from doing so. It's 10 on the board. It's double digits from Slacks. The defuse will be connected. Lovely stuff from that CT side of Sprout.
Apologies, I had some technical difficulties there in the brain, apparently. But 4 rounds in the difference with that pistol round going the way of Sprout, and it's likely to continue to go in their favour. Although I presume we're going to just see the eco being taken here from Eternal Fire, so that they can just try and get these guns out as soon as possible, because you don't want to let Sprout head up towards potentially 12 if you're going to, of course, go for a force buy here and then take an eco. Doesn't give you a lot of room to work with. I mean, it is Sprout's map choice, so you still have, I guess, that to work with in as a bit of a fallback. You move forward onto Overpass, a map that Eternal Fire are definitely going to be a lot more comfortable on. But they would definitely love to get things going again, because they were keeping it so competitive initially. And it does seem like they can get the challenge in here and potentially make it a series that could be the 2-0, because I think that would be the best way for them to make it happen. Although, again, we said Nuke is a weird one after seeing how it went for Sprout in that previous game versus Sinners.
We'll have to wait and see if they can keep it competitive, if they can get it going again.
They spent quite a lot here.
They have. They've invested pretty significantly. Just about managing to skim it together. The loss bonus will top them up, of course. Plenty of nades, a handful of upgraded pistols, even able to squeeze a Mac 10 out of there as well. They've bled most of the utility of Sprout away, of course, this bonus round. Second round, rather. Always looks a little slim on the ground when you look for the heavy rifle investment. Flashes come out the door, and they start to pounce onto this A site. Timing going to be key here as Slacks starts by the spray down of the first from inside of the site. Favon and Slacks combining brilliantly. It's a 4-for-1. Favon through the smoke, continuing to frag out as Woxic is left. Trying to scrape up the pieces of this round. Not going to be allowed to do so. Sprout accelerating as they move on to the CT side. A well-controlled hold of the A site, shall we say. All 4 rifles kept up. Half-buy does nothing for Eternal Fire.
Fortunately not, but they will at least be able to come towards the buy here. Xanthars is a little bit low on money. I don't think they can afford to take the eco because of that. He will instead just be forced onto the Galil. Speedy goes straight to the M4 as you'd expect after falling, and, well, they're going to have a pretty tough round here, to be honest, with a couple of FAMASs still in play. It's definitely not a bonus round. They did not build up really any sort of economy for themselves. Instead, it went into getting all of the nades here to ensure that they have the best chance of winning this round here and now. And damn, Favon is 21-9.
He's just feeling it. He's just feeling it, isn't he? He's looking...
What are they feeding this man the last couple of weeks?
I don't know, because he's looking unbelievably crispy in this tournament. May well need him to come up again here.
Feeding him crispy bacon.
Oh, Dean. Stop, my friend. All banana set up, all 5 players here. Flash around the corner for Riles. Won't spot anything out, and that could be unfortunate, because just as the smoke fades, they are in fact going to round that corner. Emor starts to swing it. 3 teammates in tow. The 4th not far behind. The rotation is starting to make its way around. The lack of any sound cues anywhere else has meant that there is at least 3 players here as the hit starts to come through. And here we go. Key mollied out of his first angle of choice. Spraying away on the FAMAS. Gets the early 1-for-1. Rals will find the same. Does that make this retake viable, however? 3v3. They've got a Molotov on Favon. That's going to head in now to try and burn away at the planter. It doesn't quite land as intended, though. It allows Woxic to get it off unscathed. Favon sits in the smoke. Plays himself a timing. The swing is good, but it is actually traded. Favon just about finishes his meal with Xanthars before he goes down. And Slacks is there to deal with Woxic. Spiddy swings to trade. And it's simple CS executed brilliantly by Sprout. Trading 1-for-1, swinging your angles efficiently. They've got 12 and they are 4 away from shutting the door on Inferno.
Yeah, it was just like a constant seesaw right there between the two. And fortunately for Eternal Fire, they were the ones who ended up on bottom in that situation. Spiddy's having a pretty slow game, I've got to say. 6-11 right now. He's actually, in general, been performing fairly well for them as of recently. I've seen him have quite a few games where he steps up when they need it if someone else isn't quite feeling it as much. But at the moment, a little bit of a slower performance. Ral's also not quite up there in the frags. It's obviously being made up for by the fact that Favon is in another universe and Slacks isn't really too far behind them. Oh, a little bit of burning there for Rals. He doesn't really seem to care. Willing to take a bit of a sacrifice in terms of the health to take the frag on Emor. The nade coming back though from Xfloud immediately finishes him off. So that is a little bit unfortunate. But a 1-for-1 to take banana control is something Sprout can be pretty happy with. Especially if they utilize it well. They're not really going to actually get anyone positioned deep in, nor are they going to have anyone posted up or just jump peeking. They're just going to keep the 2 players in position for now, it seems.
They're faking that they've retreated. That smoke drop behind them by Key, but it's not going to be fell for. They're going to instead speed up towards the A site. Start to drop their utility, take that bracket control. They're really not sure, Eternal Fire, how they want to play this one. The bomb is bottom of mid with 50 seconds left. They are going to double back towards the crossfire on Banana. Key has been behind Wood this whole time, and as he swings, oh, the timing is nasty. Calyx deals with him, and now it's all on Favon. Tucked behind sandbags, it's never checked properly, and he gets away with 1. Molotov dropped, buys time, goes on high, and gets 2 more. Favon continues to just pop off on the execution. Xanthars left in the 1v3 with 28 seconds left on the clock. The bomb is at Favon's feet. He is tagged down low, and the support is a long way away. Flank coming in from Slacks, but it's going to be late. Faven ducks under the bullet and just about gets away with it. What a round top banana from Faven.
Absolutely nuts. Initially, I was thinking, oh, he might have popped his first shot off a little bit too early here, but then obviously he realized he had a Molotov, and I was like, okay, perfect. He gets that down and just decides, you know what? I'm not going to let the molly hold them back. I'm kind of screwed, trapped in behind sandbags, so he jumps up and brings the fight to them with pretty much perfection then on the control of that AK. So just great work from Faven. Great work from Sprout in general now, as they have kind of just taken control of this game and not looked back. It was 6-6. We were tied up at one point. Since then, things have just gone south for Eternal Fire. You can see why Sprout chose this map, of course. Again, though, Overpass up next is not one that they tend to play as much. It's one that they're kind of like, okay, yeah, if it comes into a series, we will play it. And they have had some decent enough results on it. Most recently, they've suffered a couple of losses in a row. One of which was an overtime loss against Double Pony, or rather a double overtime loss. So that's one I think you can forgive, even if it's not the most amazing map for Double Pony either. But before that, they had suffered a 16-4 against Movistar over in Premier. So it's not a map that they're the strongest on.
Certainly isn't. Have to wait and see how it plays. They're going to try and get aggressive here, Eternal Fire. Imor has actually gone past Rouse, but as he turns to check his back, he'll get away with it. Riding his luck a little bit there, but he finds it. The nades continue to do work. He'll post himself tight on the corner. The secondary smoke will come to back him up, and through it, Key will find another. Fantastic damage early on. That one rifle on Xantares has been spotted out in amongst the chaos. Calyx will be able to recover it at the very least, but coming up against Faven, who's rotated onto a nasty little angle atop the flower bed. He looks to continue pushing through, and that is just nasty. Another triple as he knocks on the door of a 30 bomb. Faven looking far too clean for Sprout.
Yeah, there wasn't much trouble at all during that round, even though it looked like there was about to be initially in Banana. Yeah, they handled it well, and now it's coming into what is probably the last full gun round here for Eternal Fire, unless of course they manage to win it. That's gonna have to happen if they want any chance of making the comeback. They're actually going for a 4-man stack over on B. This is an interesting approach. I mean, they have a massive buffer at this stage, can afford to take some risks and try something a bit crazy. And with that, maybe just catch Eternal Fire off guard and also just stamp them out, basically. As you can see, a good entry from Slacks. I'm surprised he continues to take that fight alone. Obviously, the other two players begun to rotate, but he still had Key back in the bomb site, who just wasn't really interested in being up closer, helping him other than, I think, a flash that came over just as he died. Nice little double position on, in here on long, though, that I don't think is going to be expected. Indeed, the MP9 pounces up close and takes out 2. Faven is good for the 1 before he fell. And with that, again, Eternal Fire, I was saying. They'll be raging on the inside, so it'll be Internal Fire right now, mostly.
They go down without a squeak, 15-6. Sprout really finding their feet here, and this is starting to get a little concerning for Eternal Fire, because as much as this map is one round from being over, the momentum will carry. Sprout will take this and use it as fuel into map 2, into that overpass. Look to clean it up that way. 15-6 up. Yeah, they do. They're not the greatest overpass team in the world, as you said. They need something to get them going, and at the moment, this is looking magnificent for them. Going to clean up house. The mid-aggression punished. Woxic able to take out Faven and grabs the double as well. They keep continuing to try and trade it. Slacks will finally get it done. It leaves the man advantage there. Make it 2 as Imor charges round top B, and the B bomb site wide open for the taking at this point. Key scrambling to try and be anywhere near the action as the rotations start to get very awkward indeed. Calyx is still lurking out on A. Slacks is aware of the possibility, but the timings are going to be rough. He does deal with it, but Key misses his shot. Xantares swings wide. And well, that will be the round. It will be a 7th for Eternal Fire as they start their long road through to overtime.
Yeah, but I mean, even if they don't get it fully to the overtime, at least taking some rounds, trying to chip away at the confidence that Sprout are building, I think that'll be the goal currently. Take it a round at a time. If they end up getting to the stage where the overtime's looking real, then great. But the moment. I think, again, just knock them down a peg before we move on towards Overpass so that Eternal Fire can get things working, as they're probably expecting it to go on their own map choice. Definitely does look to favour them statistically. Slacks is good though, he's going to save this over no matter what. No one nearby, and well, he's the only one who doesn't really have the money to buy up for themselves. Although Favin could do it a drop, he'll probably get one off Rals. Just to spread the love, make sure there's going to be nades plentiful for Favin. You definitely don't want to be leaving him short in any regard at the moment, considering he's 29 and 12. He's been not only stepping up and carrying his own weight, but he's been doing quite a bit more. And again, Slacks isn't far behind. It's very impressive that they can have two players on such ridiculous stats. 29 and 12 and then 21 and 6. Slacks is doing it not far behind kill-wise, but with half the deaths as well.
Not far behind at all, and that's the concern. You're looking at the fragging roster as the pug roster that we pull so much from. Being straight out fragged by Favin and Slags. And with an 8-round deficit between them and OT, there is a long way home. Keeping it simple for now, though. Grouping up. Over towards bracket. Early utility to try and lock Slacks off his angle of choice. HE will, of course, follow. Chips away at him more nicely. It will be bracket control conceded. More starts to lurk his way around, and Sprout aren't keen on making the rotation. They've got no information on Banana. They can't afford to swing a man round early, so it is going to be this 3-man hold. Slacks drops his molly to buy a little more time with only 45 seconds left. This starts to get a little nasty. Secondary utility to top B will slow it down even further. Molly on short will buy yet more time, and Slacks looks to encroach off the back of it. Hits a big shot. Xantares falls. Slacks wants to do it again. He wants to just continue doing it, and he picks off Woxic. Just plucking at the hairs as they look to make their way up short. Favin now playing in and around these smokes, looking for his 30 bomb. Somehow it's a level 3-on-3 as they look to take the site. Favin still alive and kicking. There's the 30 bomb, traded at least by Emor, but Slacks continues just to pick away at them. Piece by piece they fall until all that remains is Emor with 5 seconds on the clock. He gets the kills, but it doesn't matter. The round is done and it will go with a whimper. 16-7, Sprout able to take the victory here on Inferno, and as soon as they got to the CT side, it looked far too easy.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Eternal Fire couldn't really do much about stopping that momentum at any point either. As we said, even if they could just stop it, get 4 or 5 rounds in a row, get their